Hey buddy. I've had a few people ask me, how's Zeus doing? So thank you for asking. He's doing quite well. Getting a little older, sleeping a little more, but still just as fantastic of a little dog as he has always been. But yeah, you're very fantastic. Everybody knows it. So, that's Zeus. So today is a big day for me and some of you, especially anybody who's been here for the last little bit. For anybody new, this is Staple Horse Training. My name is Graham, and I would love to introduce you guys to our newest herd member here on the property. There's a lot to talk about, lots and lots to unpack, and I actually have been pondering how on earth to do this, because as each day has gone on, we've reached some new milestone or done some new thing or figured out some new solution to a problem or discovered some new problem. I would like to introduce to you this little 11-month-old BC Wildie, and her name is Mocha. Now her name is Mocha because my daughter picked her out of a crowd of other BC Wildies, and so she got to choose the name. She chose Mocha. It fits. She's brown. She's got these lovely black socks going on, all four. She looks an awful lot like Mr. Wild, other than he has a black or a white left sock, I think. So, and she's obviously a lot smaller. It's important to talk just a little bit of the why and the how and the who, all that kind of stuff. I've covered a pile of these things over on the second channel if you haven't checked that out. It's a Stable Horse Training Academy, and I did a whole set of videos of the interview process of where I got her from, the lady that rescues these BC Wild. They're over on reserves in our land here in British Columbia because the government doesn't protect them, and if they don't get adopted out, then they end up going to slaughter. But lots of details over there. As for her, she has been here now exactly 2 weeks. And she is a huge sweetie. She has no problem being touched. We can approach her, can touch her mouth, her nose, her eyes, her ears, her legs. And the biggest problem is actually that little bump under there, which is getting smaller, but it's a good chance she still is going to need surgery. Let's talk about that in a little bit. Let's talk now first about how she has come along here. Within the 2 weeks that she has been here, I have worked on a pile of stuff. Obviously, when they arrive from the wild, they don't handle people whatsoever. It's very difficult to approach and start thinking about touching and doctoring and all that kind of stuff. Yes, exactly. So the first step obviously is to be able to approach her. So pretty much from day 1 till about 5 or so is me doing my best to approach her and then finally get at least a rope on her, because we need to be able to halter her to then be able to have the vet take care of her and inspect her. We also need to be able to delouse her, deworm her, which are all big deals. So what I think I'm going to do is I've got a whole pile of video, and if you're a member here, you can go check out in the community section or head over to Patreon and find I think there's close to 6 hours of extra footage of training of how I got her to be this gentle. And I think it's very important to understand the why the process was quite quick or a bit almost rushed without doing any harm. Obviously she's not afraid. She hasn't been trapped or anything like that, other than being in this paddock because she is in quarantine. She can't be near the other horses. She can't be near the other horses because of the lice, possible ticks. I didn't find any, and the worms that she has. And she also needed a Coggins test. Coggins test is a common test that we do when we have a horse that's either come from the wild or has to cross the border, because we need to know if they have this anemic disease that is incurable. If she did have it, she would have to be put down, and then every single horse here would also have to be tested and made sure they do not have it, they didn't catch it, usually from mosquito bites, transfer from one horse to the other kind of idea. And any horse that does have it, there's nothing we can do. They just have it and they would pass it on to other horses, and so they must be put down. So she does not. She passed with a negative test result, which means that she does not have it. So it's very uncommon to have from the horses that we get around here, and so no problems there. Okay, so let's roll the montage of training and we'll come back to me. So as I mentioned, the health problems that she has going on are a big deal. First thing that she needed to have dealt with was all the lice that she had, very, very itchy, and the worms. So to deworm a horse, you have to get something into their stomach, some medicine that ends up going through their intestines, and then out come all the dead worms. To delouse, you have to at least be able to get somewhere near them to either put a powder or a liquid on that then kills all the lice on their body, and ticks as well. And you want to be able to inspect to see if there are any ticks on there and how many, even though you are going to be killing them off, because the load that the horse has is important. But the biggest issue that she has going on is the hernia And the hernia is from the umbilical cord. Now, a lot of baby horses, when they have this problem, it seems to be a relatively common problem, will have it solved within the first month or two of their life. She's been stuck with it for 11 months, so she had an infection, which means that she has to have antibiotics 2 times a day, plus her dewormer for 5 days in a row, 1 time a day. So needless to say, it's been a heck of a lot of fun dealing with her. But that really does mean that I have to be able to touch and to, oh, she's mad at me right now. Hey, come here, come here. There, calm down. So we have to be able to touch her mouth, we have to be able to touch her nose, have to be able to touch her eyes, all these kinds of sensitive spots. I know, you really, really wanted to eat. But it wasn't a really big issue getting her there. Once, like all of the wildies, once they have that level of trust in them, then it just goes from there. Not that she likes the flavor or has medicine, likes having medicine in her mouth, but the antibiotics are helping. The bump is smaller than what it was. We did an ultrasound to see exactly what is going on in there, a bunch of fluid, and she had a fever just a little bit over of what the maximum of a regular horse should be. So horses should have an absolute maximum of 101.5 Fahrenheit, and she was 101.8, I think it was. So a little too high. So with those two, the fluid in there, the fever, she had an infection, so we'll get that down, and then we'll be able to probably have to do some surgery to get out any necrotic or any remaining infected tissue, and then just fix the hernia, sew her back up, and she should be good. So the next thing for her is going to be just finishing up all the delousing. We've got one more thing of delousing to do to make sure that any of the eggs that hatched after the first delousing are then killed before they can lay more eggs. So that's a vital thing to do. You can't delouse a horse once, you can't deworm a horse once. They have to be done 2 times, so that, because you don't kill eggs, you never can kill the eggs. With that done, she will finally be able to go out and meet the herd, and I can't wait for that day, because I've already managed to be able to take her out a little bit onto the grass where the other horses don't go. She was a little worried at first, but we made it out and she was able to munch on a bit of grass. So I want to be able to do that every single day so that we can get used to coming out of the paddock, going into the paddock, and leading her around. Overall though, she is a fantastic little horse. She is learning very quickly, trusting quite a bit, and is beautiful. She's got some really nice colors going on. Her itching on her back end has definitely gone away. You don't see, all the itching marks that they usually have. I haven't done anything with her today. I haven't brushed her today, but she has been brushed a couple days ago and did really well with that. And so you can see right now she's looking like she hasn't been chewing on anything or really rubbing on anything per se. These are all old marks in here. So those will go away. She will shed out and she will look fantastic. She'll be a lot like Annie, who is, she's not fuzzy at all in comparison to her. So with all the worms gone, with all the lice gone, with all this good nutrition inside of her body, she's really going to come around, and I can't wait to show you guys when she gets out into the arena with the other horses and we go walking around, take a look in the forest and stuff like that. I think she's going to be fantastic. So that's it for this video. Hopefully that has been interesting and informative and educational and a little bit entertaining. Very soon, we're 2 weeks in now, so we've got maybe another week and a half to go before I think I can get her out with the others. But it's getting there, a little bit more quarantine. So that's it. Thank you to everybody that's been watching. We've got a little bit of a cloudy day, a little bit of blue, but it's going to be a good day. We're going to get busy. But yes, thank you everybody who is here. Thank you everybody who's in memberships. Thank you to everybody who has helped out buying bracelets or signs or all these kinds of things, because that's what really helps us get these wildies in. We've got 3 in now. We've got Mocha, Annie, and Mr. Wild 3 years in a row. And if you've made it this far, then you get to know first about 5 new bracelets, which I will run across the screen, and they will be up on the store for purchase. Again, these are fundraisers that go towards helping these guys out, medical bills, adoption, and care for them, feeding wise and stuff like that as time goes on. So that's it. I will see you guys in the next one.